Hello, my name is Caleb Smith with the Rocket Miner newspaper, here to provide your coronavirus update for May 11th, 2020. Locally, Sweetwater County's big news today is that we're now up to 13 lab-confirmed cases. This comes on the heels of a Rock Springs man in his 20s testing positive for the virus, as confirmed by the Wyoming Department of Health Public Health Lab. Good news is that he is listed in good condition and is just self-isolating at home, according to Sweetwater County Public Health. When it comes to contact tracing, looking at the people who have tested confirmed for the virus or probable for the virus, seeing who they've come into contact with, is something that is important when it comes to isolating and clamping down on cases to prevent their further spread. It looks like that the gentleman who is number 13 had connections to Sweetwater County's 11th confirmed case. If you remember, that was a Rock Springs woman in her 50s. She was actually the first one who was hospitalized for the virus, going into Memorial Hospital, Sweetwater County for treatment on April 29th and then being discharged on May 3rd. The 12th confirmed case of the coronavirus, a Green River woman in her 40s, was also admitted to Memorial Hospital. She was hospitalized on May 5th and was discharged the next day. It's good news, and we're glad to see so many people recovering from this virus. It's great to see the majority of people not needing hospitalization. Broadening our scope a little bit when it comes to numbers, statewide in Wyoming we have 510 confirmed cases from the lab and 159 probable cases as marked by the Wyoming Department of Health. We're glad to see the death count is unchanged, staying at 7. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention report that the total number of cases in America is now at 1,324,488, which is an increase of 25,792 compared to yesterday. The U.S. death toll now sits at 79,756 people, which is an increase of 985 people compared to yesterday. We're glad to see the number of deaths slowly going down the last couple of days. May we all be doing what we can to be kind and considerate of our neighbors and ourselves to keep that number going downward. Worldwide, Johns Hopkins University reports that the total number of cases sits at 4,174,651. Global death toll is at 285,945 people. And recoveries is now at 1,455,731. Now, across the state, a majority of counties has a variance that's allowing those on the ground, having submitted their plans and working in tandem with the state, to be reopening some of the services and some of the establishments and businesses that we've had. The Sweetwater County Commission met this morning in a special meeting talking with department heads, local elected leaders, rolling out their plan for reopening county facilities, such as if you need to get your driver's license, you need your new sticker, you need your voter registration because you moved. You're new to the area, you got all sorts of things you got to set up. They're working on having the plan to be able to allow access back to public buildings, such as the Sweetwater County Courthouse, so people can get connected with the services that are very important for everyday life. Keep reading the Rocket Miner for additional coverage on that. In addition, Memorial Hospital of Sweetwater County is stressing that if you previously had an elective surgery that was planned with one of its many specialists, now is the time to call to inquire and see if you'd like to have it done now. There were some stricter guidelines that caused many hospitals, including Sweetwater Memorial, to limit what it was offering. But right now, they're opening up its schedule for surgeries, starting with some of the more serious cases. And they define that as those intended to relieve pain and increase mobility. Examples that the hospital gave would be total joint replacement, carpal tunnel, hernias, hysterectomies, and sinus surgery. Quoting the Surgical Services Director, Alicia Mackey, "We are excited to get back to doing what we do best," she said. We look forward to seeing our patients and helping them live a better life." The press release goes on to note that, like I said, emergency cares are taking priority, but there's still a lot of specialties that you can inquire about. That includes general surgery, orthopedics, urology, gynecology, and ear, nose, and throat. Other physicians that they say you may hear from soon would be your podiatrist, your pediatric dentist, and your plastic surgeon. Now, they're also saying that some homework, some additional steps are going to be required. As always, there might be some rescheduling that needs to be done and some necessary preoperative tests. When it comes to surgery, the hospital notes that patients must have a COVID-19 test prior, and that requires an order from your healthcare provider. The idea is that this is required to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and maintain the health and safety of other patients along with the hospital staff. So please be mindful of that. We're making changes. Well, one of the things that came up during the county commission this morning, and I was thankful to be watching that live stream. Some of you may have tuned into the Zoom meeting or watched the replay, or you're looking for us to give you the recap. One of the things that came up is that changes are coming. Cases are still going to continue. And we have to keep adjusting our habits and our expectations. It would be a delight if we could just flip a switch and go exactly back to the way things were. But that's not an option right now. As a country and as individuals, we've sacrificed a lot to get us to where we're at, where, especially locally right now, our cases have stayed low, limited. We are not near other counties that unfortunately surpassed triple digits in some of their cases, in the lower 100s. There are specific places in Wyoming right now that they're going to be amongst the last to reopen because it's dire out there. In Sweetwater County and a couple other places around us, things look much better. They'd easily trade spots with us. But we have to be diligent. We're going to have to, in some cases, take a little bit longer route. One of the things that was discussed was which side of the building are we going to be directing people through, such as at the Sweetwater County Courthouse, keeping in mind where handicap parking is, where ease of access is, as they're trying to direct people, so they'll be going through hand washing stations, so there'll be county staff available to help direct them, because this is not the time to be just idly wandering around, not quite sure where you're supposed to go. And that's true whether you're at that they're saying right now that's something to keep in mind, whether that's a supermarket, whether that's the courthouse. This is going to require changes on our part. Some of these trips are going to take a little bit longer, whether it's because we're waiting in line or there's that extra distancing, whether it's wait, I got to stop and wash my hands for the OOP team time today, or I need to readjust my mask. It's a pain, but if you think of the alternatives, I think it's a great bargain. And if you even think of just where we were a little while ago, if you were told that we can grant you more stays in your restaurant, I'm personally not taking advantage of it, but many members of the county government noted how they've gotten rid of their quarantine periods. If you were told that if you could just take a couple simple steps to be able to have access to some of these things, I don't think that's asking too much. That's me. I would hope that you agree with me. Just be looking for ways that we can keep doing our individual part. Being understanding that some of these people who they're trying to figure out how to make it work too. And it might take a couple tries. And we may screw up some things and we'll have to try something different. especially if you're interacting with those on the ground, the people who are about as far removed from the policies you can get. Please be kind to them. They're they're honestly bearing some of the biggest weights and responsibilities right now, and they need as much kindness and consideration as we can grant them. After all, they're our neighbors. They're our they're our family members. They're our friends. They're the people who help make this place so neat. Be good to them. You know they'll be good in return. And that just makes everything just a little bit better in crazy times like this. I'm Caleb Smith with the Rocket Miner newspaper, wishing you a good day and a safe tomorrow.